$20, whoever gets the best quote.
No. Come on, you're such a child.
You're such a pussy.
I'm not taking your money. You get all bent out of shit.
I don't care. I'm just the same when I win or lose.
It's not a bet. All right, fine. Warren Strobel for Senator Biden, please.
Son of
Biden told Bush the reason your father didn't go to Baghdad, he knew he'd have to stay for at least 5 years.
You got Michael O'Hanlon at Brookings saying you definitely cannot count on it being a cakewalk.
God, I did it harder than that.
All right, well, hang on. I got an official at the UN that says there's widespread concern that this will destabilize the whole Middle East.
Let me see what you have.
Oh, wait, I got others.
Give it to me. Give.
Best case scenario, U.S. troops could be stuck in Iraq for years trying to teach. Yeah.
Are those for me?
No. Yes. But I thought it might be a little too soon to be giving each other gifts.
That would have been all right.
Okay. Well, they landed on... Do that?
Great.
Right.
Okay. So what was the most embarrassing thing you did to prepare for tonight? All right. I'll admit, preparing for tonight did kind of a film session on Iraq and the history of the Muslim world.
Really?
Yes. Now I know that 1,400 years ago, after the death of Muhammad, Muslims fought over who was to be his rightful heir, and that caused a split into two factions, the Sunnis and the Shiites, and they've been at war ever since. And then at the end of World War I, the Brits and the French arbitrarily divided the Arab world into countries, putting the Sunni majority in charge. But the country that became Iraq is made up of only 20% Sunni. So Saddam Hussein, a Sunni with an iron fist, rules the majority Shiite population and the 20% Kurdish population in northern Iraq. But if Saddam Hussein were removed, it could possibly reignite that 1,400-year-old sectarian war. Now, after reading your stories, I know that Iran is the sponsor of terror, not Iraq. That a man named Ahmed Fawzi seems to be a con artist who wants to replace Saddam Hussein, that the neocons in the Bush administration are for the invasion. You are quickly becoming my writer.
Wow. I guess it's my turn.
Give it to me.
Okay, I will admit that it's embarrassing. I asked my ex-wife to watch my two sons tonight.
Well, why is that embarrassing?
because a babysitter would expect me home at the end of the evening, and
Should we?
Tell your boss we're gonna run her whether he comments or not. Actually, yes, it is a matter of life and death. We're talking about going to fucking war. Hello?
guessing that was a no comment.
What are you grinning about?
Well, I'm not grinning.
You're grinning.
I'm not grinning. I'm not. Relax. Don't worry about it.
God, she can do my taxes.
All right, relax. Stroll, Night Rider.
Of course.
Okay. I'll be right there. Let's go. This could be something.
So how does this work? Do you ask me questions, or do I just start talking?
Well, why don't you just begin, and we'll ask the question.
If it's off the record, I have to say so, right?
Do you want it to be off the record?
I want to know what I know, but not who I am.
It'll be background. Be or two official.
So whatever you feel comfortable telling us.
I believe your prediction about what could and will happen if we go to war is spot on. And we're a lot closer than you think.
How close?
A secret war planning group with a parallel intelligence operation has been set up to bypass the rest of the intelligence community.
How do you know this?
They meet in the building where I work,
And which building is that?
the one with 5 sides.
But you're not a part of that unit?
No,
So how do you know about this?
my desk is across the hall.
What office do you work for?
Near East South Asia Division. But you can't disclose that.
You're an analyst?
Yes. You can't disclose that either. I'm speaking to you because I'm an American citizen and I don't like what these people are doing. Half a dozen men, most of whom have never served in the military, are making decisions based on shoddy intelligence. And those decisions will impact our men and women in uniform. And as someone who has worn that uniform, I can't remain silent.
You say shoddy intelligence. What do you mean by that?
They've designed a process that doesn't conform to any basic tenet of intelligence gathering.
In what way?
A decision is made, then the intelligence is sought to support that decision.
How do you know this?
They have no interest in Arabic speakers. Israelis come in without passes, without even being entered into a security box. And for years, the government had funding of exiled dissidents called the Iraqi National Congress,
Led by Ahmed Chalabi, we know.
who they want to install as the new leader of Iraq.
I'm meeting with him. Do you know who set up this operation?
Donald Rumsfeld.
Is there any evidence to indicate that Iraq has attempted to or is willing to supply terrorists with weapons of mass destruction?
The reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me because, as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
We're working on a theory that the administration has already decided to go to war and is now focused on how to justify it.
It's not a theory.
We've also been told by a number of individuals that Rumsfeld is one spearheading this intelligence gathering.
I wouldn't exactly call it intelligence gathering. It's more like intelligence cherry picking. And if they don't find any cherries, they just grab a piece of shit and they paint it red and they stick it in a Shirley Temple.
You seem irritated.
I'm out there looking for weapons that might not exist to justify a war that might not be wise.
And have you found any evidence of WMD?
No, sir.
But Saddam is looking to acquire nukes, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to fuck Jennifer Lopez. But I have this sinking feeling that neither of those things is gonna happen.
We use your identity. Can we, quote,
Sure.
You found anything to support this theory, or had fired?
Searched the tape, looked up Campbell's. So here's the quote. No fucking way.
I have to clean that up a bit.
Quite colorful, though. Honey, I think someone's stealing our New York Times.
I canceled it.
Why would you do that?
It's propaganda.
I need that for my work.
Packaging press releases from the White House, the State Department, and the Pentagon. Sorry, that's not a real newspaper. How was your day?
Well, Warren and I met with some gentlemen from the intelligence community who confirmed that there's no real evidence to support the administration's claim on WMD.
What have I been telling you?
Well, unfortunately, I can't use your gut as a reliable source.
You know, this is what they do. They lie.
Yeah, and we try to hold them accountable.
I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do. But the Bush administration, they don't care about the truth. They don't even respond to your articles. If they want a war, they're gonna get one. And there's nothing that you or the First Amendment is gonna do to stop them.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Over the past 14 months, Iraq has tried to buy thousands of specially designed aluminum tubes, which American officials believe were intended as components of centrifuges to enrich uranium. Well, one thing's for sure.
What's that?
We can't both be right.
Who are you calling?
Loose nukes?
Well, if she wouldn't talk to you about going into Iraq, what makes you think she's going to go on the record on WMD?
Charm offensive. Watch and learn, son.
Landy. It's Joe Galloway. Oh. And even walks like he has a bronze.
Oh, hi. Yeah, it's Landay.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hi. Crazy weather we're having, huh?
You're calling me to chat about the weather?
No, yeah. Actually, I want to ask you about WMD. Keep back down.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
No, wait, don't hang up.
That charm offensive, that's it's formidable.
Listen, we need you here. You've developed sources over the years that have access that and Strobel just can't get. I'll make it easy on you. I'll give you a and your name enough or anything else. If you whatever else you want to write on the side, you can, and of course there won't be any glory. But
glory's for young men. Let me percolate on it.
Let me turn to the issue of Iraq. You have said that it poses a mortal threat to the United States. How? Define mortal threat.
Well, this will take some time, but it's important for us, as I mentioned earlier, to remember that the world has changed. That prior to 9/11,
I'd forgotten the world had changed.
So did I. How do you
specifically has he obtained that you believe would enhance his nuclear development?
well, in nuclear weapons arena, you've got specific aluminum tubes. There's a story in the New York Times this morning. This is, and I won't have time to talk about, obviously, specific intelligence sources, but it's now public that, in fact, he has been seeking to acquire, and we have been able to intercept and prevent him from acquiring through this particular channel, the kinds of tubes that are necessary to build a centrifuge. And a centrifuge is required to take low-grade uranium and enhance it into highly enriched uranium, which is what you have to have in order to build a bomb.
Yeah, lucky for him, someone leaked that at the time. So.
Avoids the pesky nuisance of being arrested for revealing classified information.
One can only wonder how Judy Miller and Michael Gordon got that information.
Accepted that. Does it bug you, that you have not captured Osama bin Laden in over a year?
I'd like to see him on television in handcuffs, if I could put it in those terms. I think all of us would. But I don't lay awake at night concerned about that. There's one school of thought that says he's already dead. We haven't heard anything of it.
What do you think?
In many months. I don't know. I really don't know. I can argue it round or flat.
I didn't know we were still debating the shape of the earth.
Got sources on both sides.
That U.S. military would be enormously effective in this circumstance, and I don't think it would be a that tough a fight. That is, I don't think there's any question that we would prevail and we would achieve our objective.
And
yeah.
Do that. So how long we would be there?
All right, all right.
Clearly would have to stay for a long time.
Everybody listen up. We're not NBC. We're not ABC. We're not CBS. We're not Fox. We're not CNN. We're not the New York Times. We're not the Washington Post. We are Knight Ridder. We have readers who live in towns with military bases. Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort Jackson, and over 40 other military bases throughout this country. If every other news organization wants to be stenographers for the Bush administration, let them. We don't write for people who send other people's kids to war. We write for people whose kids get sent to war. So when the government says something, you only have one question to ask. Is it true?
I'm through percolating.
Let's get to work.
Administration officials fanned out on the Sunday talk shows to make the case for an invasion of Iraq.
Who else is involved in the Office of Special Planning?
Wolfowitz, Feith, a couple others. And instead of listening to people who have spent their careers evaluating threats, they're streaming questionable intel from unreliable sources and taking it directly to the White House.
George Tenet, director of Central Intelligence, told senators he could not rule out cooperation between Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda.
I've seen the specs on those aluminum tubes. They're too small to be used for enriching uranium.
What does that mean?
They can't be used for nuclear bombs.
The President of the United States said we're not going to permit nations to develop weapons of mass destruction if they're going to supply those weapons to a network of terrorism that could attack the United States.
Cheney is trying to shut out Bell.
Where did you get this stuff?
Old friend.
We're starting to see a consensus from within the administration for the removal of Saddam
The
Hussein.
administration has pointed to a secret meeting in Prague between Iraqi intelligence and 9/11 hijacker Mohammed
The Bush
Atta.
administration is pressing the United Nations Security Council for a resolution to put pressure on Iraq.
President Bush will address the United Nations today in hopes of putting together a multinational coalition to disarm Saddam Hussein.
The White House is lobbying Congress to authorize the use of force in Iraq.
The minute these guys get their hands on anything remotely resembling evidence, they leak it to the New York Times. Now, I understand the position you're in, but please don't hang up on me.
Okay.
Okay. The Vice President of the United States went to the VFW and said that Saddam Hussein is on the threshold of developing a nuclear weapon. Any good on national television says the same thing.
Your question?
Ask the question.
What I want to know is Dick Cheney ignoring good intelligence Dick's sons, or is he getting bad intelligence?
The Vice President is lying.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What'd she say?
He's lying.
He's lying.
Cheney is
Cheney's
lying.
lying. Cheney's lying. He's lying. John, he's lying. John. Where the hell is he? Here we go. Yeah. He's lying.
He's lying. Cheney's lying.
Where did this come from? Okay. You know what's being talked about? To get inside those meetings and find out if there's a dissenting opinion.
I may have a guy.
Anybody know?
The usual suspect. You didn't do an apartment garage.
They're on that Sir Pat Bud. How you lying?
My apartment lasted 4 hours.
You're with Knight Ritter?
I don't even have a desk yet. How the hell do you know that?
I have my vase.
You been following what we're doing over there?
Yes, I have.
And?
You two may be single-handedly saving the Fourth Estate from extinction.
Mainstream media hadn't picked up a thing we've been running.
Should be all the confirmation you need that you're onto something. What can I do for you?
We need some help with the higher-ups.
How high?
High as you can get us.
You've been around a long time, Joe. I doubt there's anything there that'll surprise you.
I was married one time to a woman who thought New Hampshire was the capital of Massachusetts. There's always something you don't see coming.
What do you want to know?
Everything the administration doesn't want us to know.
You and I are going to be eating a lot of pad thai.
What kind of time frame are we looking at?
Next month, Congress is scheduled to vote on whether or not to give the president the authorization to go to war.
Another boats there?
Administration thinks so.
Mr. President, 38 years ago, Robert C. Byrd voted on the Tonkin Gulf Resolution. The resolution that authorized the president to use military force to repel armed attacks and to prevent further communist aggression in Southeast Asia.
A joint resolution to authorize the use of United States armed forces against Iraq shall be brought to a close. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Biden, aye. Mrs. Clinton, aye.
It was this resolution that provided the basis for American involvement in the war in Vietnam.
Mr. Kerry, aye. Mr. Lieberman, aye. Mr. Locke, aye.
It was this resolution that led to the deaths of 58,000 Americans.
Mr. McCain, aye. Mr. McConnell, aye.
After all...
Așa, gata, zi acum. Nu m-am băgat la nimic. Oricum îmi vine cineva în vizită și nu prea o să... Adică n-am cum. Da. Cu plăcere.
resolution, we were basing our votes on bad information, and history is repeating itself. I urge senators to go down on the Capitol Mall and look at the Vietnam Memorial. Nearly every day you will find someone at that wall weeping for a loved one.
Mr. Sessions, aye.
I will always remember the words of Senator Wayne Morris.
Mr. Specter, aye.
He stated the resolution will pass, and senators who vote for it will live to regret it.
We got K-10, we got Dixie. We don't need another source. You know we got
You're
this.
accusing the Secretary of Defense of running a shadow intelligence unit out of the Pentagon. It's nice to have a little insurance. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's share it with the rest of the class.
You want to tell them?
Earlier today, I was summoned to the Pentagon.
By who?
Rumsfeld, by Dick Mess, saying all your sources are retired generals. And I say, in all due respect, sir, 80% of my sources are active military. Some of them are working in this building, and some of them are actually working on your staff. And hell, one or two of them might even be in this room.
Did you actually have sources in the room?
No. But it was fun watching them sweat like whores in church.
How close are we to getting something we can run with on the Office of Special Plans?
Well, we already got... No, we're just going to check with a couple more sources.
What's wrong with the sources you have?
Well, we just want to be certain.
You know, you sit on a story like this, the damn... Let's just move on this, okay, boys?
I can't sleep with the computer light on.
Actually...
So, what are you working on?
Rumsfeld has a secret intel group that's going around the CIA to manufacture a case for war.
What the fuck, Jonathan?
What?
Have you been talking about this on the phone?
Yeah, of course. So what?
We will hear you.
Vodka.
You're writing about infighting between spy agents.
So?
They're spy agents, Jonathan. They listen to your calls. They read your emails. They probably booked this house.
You're being paranoid.
You're being naive.
This isn't Yugoslavia. This is America.
America has changed. War is big business for them. You get in their way, they're gonna kill you.
Honey, you're being ridiculous. All right? Come on.
You get it? You know what these people are capable of. You have a family.
Vodka. Vodka.
Oh, somebody's struggling.
Oh, vodka kept me up all night.
All right.
No, not like that. It was conspiracy theories.
About what?
Oh, she thinks the government is monitoring us. I mean, John, you got to see this.
Oh, hold on a second. Arthur, I really don't want to have this conversation again. He hung up. What is it?
What do we do?
You're such a wuss. You're a wuss. You're a much bigger wuss.
Stop it. You're being a child.
Shut up.
Today's UN Security Council resolution can be boiled down to 4 words. The clock is ticking. Iraq's only
only alternative to full compliance President Bush made clear today is a military confrontation.
The full disarmament of weapons of mass destruction by Iraq will occur. The only question for the Iraqi regime is to decide how.
Son of a bitch. They beat us.
But they missed the whole point of why the unit was set up.
It doesn't matter. They got the scoop.
With what? There's nothing about cherry-picking intelligence. There's nothing about bypassing other agencies. We can still run ours.
Don, no one's going to pay attention to a second story explaining all that. We had it. God damn it. Walcott's going to be...
Maybe you haven't seen it yet.
How is it possible he hasn't talked to us all day?
Silent treatment.
No, ce faci foca?
Oh, shit. Here he goes.
Hai să-l plăui. Bine, uite, mă dau un pic pe tancuri înainte să vină un fost coleg la Code Factory pe la mine.
You had the story.
Hai că mă dau și eu câteva, că tot te-am prins.
Don't ever forget how it feels to get beat.
Stai să intru pe joc.
The only information Congress is getting is coming directly from the administration.
Iraq is a huge country, about the size of France. If they want to hide their weapons of mass destruction, they're going to be able to do so.
They're not going to rethink their positions unless they're provided with independent intel.
No one who supported the authorization for war in Congress in Iraq, not the president, I am sure, would go to war just because he wants to go to war.
Rumsfeld has been trying to sell this idea that an Iraqi intelligence officer offered bin Laden safe haven in '99.
Yeah. Well, if that offer actually had happened, bin Laden would have told Saddam to go fuck himself.
What do you make of the statement made by the Iraqi government that Iraq has no weapons of mass destruction and is not developing any?
They're lying. Next.
Your daughter's lovely. Well, I wish I could take credit. She gets it from her mother.
Dad, can I get you anything?
Oh, no, thanks, sweet.
Mr. Strobel.
I'm fine.
All right.
V-ați mai dat aseară, că eram timp de mine.
Just real casual. Tom and I are just talking about your latest article.
Oh, yeah? Seems like you don't trust politicians. Well, that's pretty solid little journalism. Even when they're talking about war?
Especially when they're talking.
You really believe there's no WMD? Our names are on the article.
They don't say that there's no WMD. They said the administration hasn't offered any proof of WMD.
Adică sigur a rămas fără baterie că nu sună.
You don't know that.
No, we don't. But before we send our kids to their possible deaths, don't you think the administration has an obligation to provide proof of their rationale?
What if that proof comes in the form of a mushroom cloud?
Okay, you've been watching Fox News.
Rice, Cheney, and President Bush have all said the same thing.
Then it must be true. You kids are too young to remember how close we came to nuclear war in '62. Now, Warren, you were born the very day President Kennedy ordered the blockade against Cuba. The most powerful enemy we knew was going to put nuclear weapons 90 miles off our coast. The president had to demonstrate strength.
And the next day, Kennedy sent Adlai Stevenson to the UN to offer proof that the missiles existed.
It's not just news. It's the Washington Post. It's the New York Times. Hell, proof is coming from every major media outlet in the country.
Eu mănânc filme pe bine, ca să zic așa.
Okay.
Mă uit non-stop la tot ce se poate.
I think I forgot the hamburger buns. Excuse me.
Da.
I'm gonna
de obicei
grab a beer.
Da, nu mi-a dat gol sau ceva. Da, două rezerve.
Te referi la gol?
You okay, bro?
Yeah.
Băi, ești 36, deci nu știu cât mai rezisteți.
Are we good reporters? What?
Dacă mai pus vreo 3-4 minute.
Are we doing anything other than practice?
We're doing exactly what we're saying.
Why the fuck are we the only ones running these fucking stories?
He just wanted you to see all sides to him before you take it to the next level.
Almost 3 months ago, the United Nations Security Council gave Saddam Hussein his final chance to disarm. Our intelligence officials estimate that Saddam Hussein had materials to produce as much
What's the
as
point of having UN weapons
5%
inspections if Bush and Cheney are just going to ignore the results?
Well, when you're creating your own reality, it's pretty easy to ignore the facts.
And so what? Due diligence is too inconvenient for the mainstream media at this point?
When news is a profit center.
Access comes. I'm proud of you, John.
Why?
Not wavering. It's got to be tough.
It's not that tough. I know who their sources are, and I know who our sources are. Iraqi dissident reassured in a talk with Bush about the post-Hussein era. Jude Miller.
She caught a terrible fortune if he was in the second MD.
Got to dig into the declassified intelligence estimate to find out if there are gems in there.
You notice they were acted classified first.
Oh, what's going on with Chalabi?
We're on it.
I'm going to keep an eye on my old boss. I got a feeling.
Yeah, Golan is the last person standing between peace and war.
Damn it.
Totally wrong. Your head isn't literally up your ass. It's a pleasure to see you, John, but please out. It's enough. You're ignoring all the work. But the fact that your bullshit is unconscious. Here, John. He's taking him out. Painful answer to you, John. Yes. It's the fact that you'll have a no possibility later. Your citizens were patriots, their citizens were our groups. How do you do that, Arthur? Going down the New York Times? You know, I don't have time for this. No, you don't have time. You don't have time. One day, the New York Times is going to apologize to its readers when that day comes. Are you going to get your own apology, or are you just going to run theirs? Have a nice day.
More the war Iraq is inevitable.
The showdown with Iraq and the kind of peace by foreign power that move closer to war.
So to do but wait for orders to attack.
Ce?
No one's got it. That
nu zice diversului.
M-a venit unul să mă dacă 4 3 nu știu ce ca dar nu e da, sincer nu. Băi, filmul ăsta N.O. așa se numește. Da, foarte șmecher. E documentar. Dă-mi invite, că am terminat.
Păi eu stai că-ți mai...
Da, stai așa că nu m-am uitat.
Hai, cu...
Tank.
Mhm.
Hai.
Da, da, eu bag... Îți bagă... Mai
trebuie să vină ăsta și
Păi tu chemi oamenii la tine când ți-e somnul?
Păi am vorbit de acum de vineri. Da, na. Ia că ne-a Bravo. Dacă ești după de stai, dar doar o artă.
Da, aia din nou, bine, ăla a spus. Nu mai a spus că altfel focusa pe numai pe mine.
Stai singur pe păste. Deși eu n-am ce vrem să fac acum, dar spune că e vorba de...
Cât fel, dar...
Ai vreo 17.
Păi ce e mare?
Da, e decent, e mediu, peste de aceasta. Deci majoritatea cu 100, 1200, așa. Dar nu, fă și tu, joacă, na, cum ai jucat cu mine până acum, ce cacao. N-a ok?
Ba da, nu, că am, în general, am media 2000-2500.
Vezi? Cred că până la urmă o să dezinstalez porcăria asta de mod.
De Tundra?
Nu Tundra, mă, ce ăsta... Slay nu, mă.
Eu ți-am
Nu, mă... Na. Mă enervează că am... Deci când fac stream am 15 frame-uri, frate. Și nu, adică, cum să zic eu, nu e ca și cum ar fi de la PC-ul meu sau ceva. E pur și simplu e ca și cum ar lua ca video în draci. Dar nu am ventilator, merg ok, adică nici eu nu știu, ci singur te scacă. Să dau altarul, să fac cu mic, dau drumul din nou, efectiv, ăsta e singur mă. Bă, ce mă rășteam ăsta? Te-l vezi postat cu meme?
Da. Ca și să trag. Nu în care stă un pe mine. Nu pot să țin spotați robot. Eu spotat rost ce vorbești? Și îmi dă like-ul.
Dacă na, nu e ăia de sus de acolo, nu știu ce căcat fac.
Ce să facă pe masa? Am aratare ca și mine.
Hai, dă-și tu un panterul ăla, poți?
Am dat în LT, că ăla l-am văzut, că ăla cu ăla mă băteam. Pe ăla mi-a băgat tot. Dacă vezi că e activ.
Ce penetrează și ăștia, frate, dau numai cu gold, mă, mâncați așa. Este incredibil. Da, gata. Deci toți au tras numai cu gold. Nu e unul să nu fi tras. De fapt, stai, artilerie, nu, artileria a tras cu gold. Pan 2, sigur, care a tras cu male. Aia e, na, are lumea bani.
Mamă, ce maloare HM-ul din partea elaltă. Am rezolvat și pe asta.
Văd. Well, aia e.
Și tu ai forțat-o prea tare.
Bă, man, eu spotam acolo că nu spota nimeni, ca să poți să tragi tu.
Păi da, mă, dar nu trebuia să ne coordonăm, să zici, bă, uite, acum am încărcat, haide, ies. Ai înțeles, dar altfel te-ai forțat-o prea tare acolo. Adevărul e că numai cu golduță am tras.
Îți dai seama că nu mă penetragea când nu merge treaba, au început gold. Până și iar mea de gold.
Da. Pe mine se ridică.
Eu am dat drumul la stream să văd și cum mai merge la hack.
Deci, trebuie să scris, poate.
Da, dar nu mai durează mult, că oricum trebuie să vină ăsta deja. Să te oprești. Hai că au sputat mai gază.
Sau foarte mic. Sau?
E uite, vezi?
Nu dau să imediat. Este la primele, dar nu acolo.
Și să așa întâlnit, deci nu înțeleg ce apare.
Nu știu, poate hard.
Numai când am o fac.
Schimb atunci că e de la asta.
Că-i să nu face din ăsta, nici altfel se pentru hang, dar văd ce zice mi-a dat echipajul noi. Vom nici la n-am mers în prima perioadă, așa că
Stâlvul este doar cât să ciupească, mă. Nu vorbi urât.
da. Deci n-am unul care, frate, când te duci spate, uite-te și cați, nu ești un tank. Te interesezi.
El era în tank.
Da. Bă, dar am lag, frate, deci este incredibil. În sfârșit s-a gândit și artileria aia să facă ceva.
T10-le, deci un LC se bate cu un T10 și un LC de-al nostru. Și tot nu reușea să îl facă. Pana asta la Polart. Ce vorbești, mă? Nu cred că au făcut de artilerie. Problema este că o să pușeze VK-ul la pe jos.
Văd. Stâng jos și vin jos. Vin și un
Tocmai de scala de piață ne stea să facem jos.
Păi, ok, eu stau, dar îl spotea.
Așa sunt eu.
Să-l vei trage nimic.
Abia acum
așa.
și m-a spotat și eu. L-am ratat la 1 milimetru, jur.
Aia și să vină ăla pe mine. Stai și tu să spoți ca mea ceva că... Adică spotează-te și...
70 la 700. Sigur pe undeva s-a ars.
Dar mi-a când am ieșit acolo.
Ah, ok.
Deci este pe aici pe undeva de sus. Să vină că e... Da,
Da, liniște că e în șosea pe artă.
Da. Și m-a mai și spotat, știi?
Mi-a dat-o și mie, mi-a dat-o, mi-a băgat-o.
Am văzut. Pierd ăștia în partea asta acum.
Dacă-s proști.
Trebuie să rămâi acolo. Nu trebuia să...
Nu, trebuie să ies pe ăsta să-l scot.
Hai înapoi acum. Că nu...
Hai sus.
Păi asta zic.
Să rămâi tu jos.
Cât ai la viață?
827. Băia sunt toți one shot.
Ok, păi atunci fii atent cum facem.
Du-te, fă-ți repede cu lucușa acolo în spate. Oricum nu cred că vin toți odată, cred că se mai întorc și pe T10-l ăla.
Zici?
Care e un prost, la bineînțeles că se mai întorc. Hai să văd ce prinde, poate reușesc să scot 1-2 până să ajungă ei cu acești.
Da, că îi mucifică el că văd. Dacă am murit la câte 10-le.
Da, e 50-ul s-a întors.
Dar ce mă, noi suntem în Noari? Da, bă.
Da. Să-mi bag Goldus, mă.
De fapt și eu prost când am văzut de 75 normal că era în Noari.
Problema a murit Ileria. O să vină apă, știi?
Păi da, le mai cine-i spune. Dar că ăsta că putea să facă niște câteva tank.
Să mă uit pe apă.
Păi aia e lăcău acolo, de-abia după ce moare.
Pe apă, pe apă.
Păi da, eu ce zic, tu trebuia să te uiți pe apă dacă ai lăcău acolo.
Dar oricum îi spotezi tu și nu tragi și ies eu și le trag.
Nu cred că îi spotez eu, pentru că mi-am făcut aici de nici eu nu mai știu nimic.
Când activează tundra.
Da, imediat. Ți-am zis că nu joc cu tundra, ce ai?
Uite că unde l-a spotat până în pana mea. Și am fost să-l arăt.
O să-ți vină cu E50 și stârul, probabil, pe partea asta pe aici.
Dar ne-a murit ăla, aia e problema.
Da, păi acum stai tu acolo, să-i spotezi pe aia.
Nu, că trebuie să iasă ăștia, uite, ia uite pe apă.
Bine și...
Dar sigur mai au pe apă.
Probabil. Oricum n-am făcut nimic meciul ăsta.
Ai spotat?
Nu.
Ah, perfect.
Păi, de ce să triple de aici? Cât îmi dă la pomii ăștia. Mă enervează că sună, frate, aude, să... Na.
chestia că la nu votăm.
Da, că uite, s-a dat ceva acolo.
S-a aici. Nu știu ce
Hai pe bază la ei.
pe partea asta, pe da, mă, dar ajung ei în bază la noi.
Nu cred.
Hai.
Fac pariu că cu stângul este la deal. La
Merge ce pot.
Da. Da, perfect. Cine știe, cunoaște.
Eu nu știu mai la acolo. E pe aici undeva. Prin cu 10.
Nu cred. Că la satan să ne ăla de aici pot.
Cum să trag? Și intrăm pe captură, nu?
Da, da. Oricum, sigur nu o să... Am trebuit să dărâm staff, dar mă rog.
Hai, căcat, nu mi-am dat seama acolo. Să verificăm sus. Mă duc sus?
Da, da, da. Nu, de fapt nu, intră înapoi, că nu contează. Așa, stai aici.
Ziceți.
Stânga.
Zicea să țin eu stânga captură. Bine, ok, și țin eu de partea la. A, dar tu ai viață, mă.
Păi, da, nu am pierdut deloc. Adică, mă rog.
Nu știu dacă mai o ia când să ajungă să dea reset.
E posibil. Nu știu. Stârvul s-ar putea că are ceva viteză.
Nu. No. Uite ăla pe partea altă. L-arzi? Yes?
Nu.
S-a capturat.
Gata. Dar ce? Important era să câștigăm, nu?
I-am leșinat oricum. Sunt curios dacă stârvul mai avea sau nu viață, dacă l-am luat sus acolo.
Zicea ăla că e 2 shot-uri, parcă, sau ceva de genul.
Mie mi-a arătat că avea viața full, dar nu știu dacă l-am luat în blind sau nu, că n-a mai fost spotat.
Oh, ce damage ai dat, mă. Puh.
Băia că 1000 ce e mult.
Păi față de mine, da.
Ia mă, nu l-am luat pe stârv acolo la blind. $50.000 pe plus. Să fie bine.
Doar 50.
Am luat, nu și-am luat și ceva șmecher. Am făcut o misiune sau ceva, da. Mobițel, te las. Că mi-a venit mâncarea.
Okay.
Și ție-ți vine ăla. După ce alea intră și tu pe tankuri.
Yep. Poftă mare.
Mersi, Tățuc.
I realized
it would take a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, we could walk it together.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Worldwide, resistance is mounting against America's military intervention into Iraq. From US cities to Europe and the Middle East, demonstrators have taken to the streets in opposition to the United States' threat to invade Iraq.
Mr. Strobel, Mr. Lande, how do you do?
Hello.
I'm Intifad Kambar. Please, follow me.
Who's this dude?
Guy used to deliver pizzas.
Kidding. Minister Chalabi, Mr. Jonathan Lande and Warren Strobel from Knight Rider News.
Man, welcome. Hey, thank you for finally agreeing to meet with us. I've been very busy talking to our competitors.
I speak with whomever wishes to speak with me. After all, I have nothing to hide, which is more than I can say for Saddam.
Okay, well, since you brought him up, I thought we might talk about what you know about his weapons and how he might be hiding them.
He has WMD, and he's hiding them. That I know.
Right. And you know that how?
I know everything that's happening in my country.
Even though Iraq hasn't been your country for over a decade?
I may be in exile, but I'm still an Iraqi.
Well, I think the point my colleague is trying to make is how would you, an enemy of Saddam in exile, have access to such valuable information?
I maintain close relationships with dissident intelligence sources.
Is there a way we can verify that?
No.
See, that's kind of a problem for us because we can't write a story.
I want what America wants. A free and democratic Iraq.
With you as its leader?
If the people of Iraq wish for me to return, yes. I want the opportunity to help rebuild my country. The way Mandela did in South Africa.
But Mandela didn't ask the U.S. to invade his country.
He wasn't fighting terrorists.
With all due respect, that's where the red flags start to go up for us.
Are you implying that I've created a false narrative for my own pursuits?
Is there another reason why you'd create a false narrative?
I don't lie. Saddam Hussein has mobile, chemical, and biological weapons labs. He has a nuclear program. He has ties to terrorists. And if you don't believe me, just ask the many other defectors and hear what they say. They will all tell you the same thing.
Don't they all get their information from you?
If you were wondering why it took so long for me to meet with you, it's this smug attitude. You have no intention of reporting anything I've said.
Do you want us to just be your cheerleaders?
All right, I think we should go. Thank you for your time.
Now I see why no one reads anything you write. I am an advocate for the removal of a vicious dictator, for a free Iraq, an Iraq that will one day be a close ally to your country, to Israel, and to all of the Western world.
And exactly how will this happen after Saddam Hussein is gone?
All right, come on, Lande.
No. He says the world will be better off, but he doesn't say how. How would the removal of Saddam Hussein not plunge Iraq into a bloody civil war? Tell us something that makes sense, anything that makes sense, and we'll write that story today. You can't, because you have no idea what happens next, and neither does anyone else.
John.
I would rather go back and write for my high school paper than to be used by you to sell the American public your bullshit. By the way, it's Knight Ritter.
Secretary of State Colin Powell will make the case against Iraq in a nationally televised address to the UN Security Council.
Looks like we're bringing in the closer.
Mr. Secretary, are you confident you will make your case, sir?
What the hell game we've been playing? All we did is piss into the wind.
Did our jobs.
I should never have become a reporter.
Damn that Woodward and Bernstein.
They took down a president whose biggest crime was trying to cover up some dirty political tricks. This president's about to do the worst thing any president could do, and he'll probably get reelected.
To the democratic experiment.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, every statement I make today is backed up by sources, solid sources. The gravity of this moment, the gravity of the threat that Iraq's of mass destruction posed to the world.
Was a side that supported the invasion.
So Hussein determined to get hand on a nuclear bomb.
Since Libya pushed me arguments in those files. One, human rights abuses, which everybody knew about. Two, links to Al-Qaeda, which, of course, right with Daesh. And the third focused on Iraq's enemy.
Leaving Hussein in possession of mass destruction for a few more months or years is not an option. Not post September 11th.
For a 4-day period, Powell made every single CIA officer defend every so-called piece of evidence in those files. He threw out 80% of them. At the end of the 4 days, Powell looked Tenet right in the eye and said, "George, can we stand by every word of this?" And Tenet said, "Everything there is gold. I promise you." To which Powell replied, "Well, that's good, George. I'm glad you feel that way, because you're going to be sitting right behind me when I present the world."
We must not fail in our duty and our responsibility to the citizens of the countries that are represented in this body.
I took one for the team.
Always a good soldier.
Has the Iraqi regime fully and unconditionally disarmed? The only acceptable outcome is one already defined, a unanimous vote, Security Council. Total disarmament. Great Britain, Spain, and the United States have introduced a new resolution stating that Iraq has failed to meet the requirements of Resolution 1441. This is a fact. It cannot be denied.
Harm we do to give them the ultimate 2 or 3 day deadline to solve our failures.
September 11th changed strategic thinking as far as I was concerned for how to protect the country. The American we can contain a person like Saddam Hussein. But OSHA protect us from this type of terror. September the 11th should say to the American people that we're now battlefield.
You need to pack your bags.
That weapons of mass destruction in the hands of a terrorist organization deployed.
Thank you. How would you answer critics who say that you think this is put it without saying making the world a more dangerous place? And as you study people the possibility of military conflicts, could you share with us any of the scenarios advisors have shared with you about worst case scenarios in terms of the potential cost of American lives, the potential cost of American economy?
To the Constitution. He has weapons of mass destruction and has used weapons of mass destruction. He has trained and financed out that type of organization before. I take the threat seriously, and I'll deal with the threat. I can be done peacefully. That's what we stand for. Love freedom, not tension.
Of Americans can recall a time when leaders from both parties set this country on a regime change in Vietnam. Most Americans died. The regime is still there anyway. Hasn't longer threatened a single American for the years we're in. What do you say thanks to the leaders of the Americans who served in Vietnam to assure them that you will not lead this country down a similar path to Iraq?
Great question. No doubt there's risk in any military operation.
It's good he could draw all that experience he had while serving in the National Guard.
It's very clear what we have to do, and our mission won't change.
Could last, 6 days, 6 weeks, down 6 months.
There's a lot of money that doesn't be taxpayer money. We're with a country that can finance its own reconstruction relative.
About quickly acquired weapons, but we want a small gun to be a mushroom out.
I think the American people are prepared for a long conflict with significant American casualties. I don't think it's likely to unfold the way Tim really believe we read it as raiders.
6 weeks after it
had begun. The president is set to deliver a very carefully worded speech flying a Harrier in the Pacific.
My fellow Americans, major combat operations